Unlike last year's format, where in addition to guest speeches, several expert discussions took place and all participating countries signed the Crimean Declaration, this year's summit was limited to public statements by presidents and prime ministers. But the very fact of holding the Crimea Platform during the war, even in an online format, is already unprecedented, as well as the number of participants, what they talked about and what they agreed on. Let's figure it out in this video. Only the president of Poland, Andrzej Duda, personally came to Kyiv. The rest of the leaders of the participating countries of the Crimea Platform spoke through a conference call for security reasons. In addition to the traditional assurances, quote, "We will never recognize the annexation of the peninsula," everyone suddenly agreed. "We made a mistake in 2014 and did not react strongly enough to those events." The result was a full-scale war in the center of Europe. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson was the most categorical in his assessment of the international failure.
Russia has violated so many international agreements that I simply cannot list them all, and Putin today, as we see, plans to seize new Ukrainian territories. He wants to do the same with the whole of Ukraine that he has already done with the Crimea. All of us can no longer allow borders to be changed by force of arms.
On February 24th, Crimea became a bridgehead for the invasion of mainland Ukraine. Today there is a clear link between the security of southern Ukraine and the demilitarization of the peninsula.
Since February 24th, 750 different cruise missiles have been launched from the occupied Crimea into our cities. Imagine 750 in 6 months. They destroyed at least 100 civilian objects, schools, universities, ordinary residential buildings. Therefore, the restoration of Ukrainian control over the Crimean Peninsula will be the biggest anti-war step in Europe.
The NATO Secretary-General also spoke about the fact that Crimea, annexed by Russia, is currently one of the most militarized regions on the entire planet. Jens Stoltenberg declared support for the alliance to the bitter end.
Winter is coming, and it will be hard, and what we see now is a grinding war of attrition. This is a battle of wheels and a battle of logistics. Therefore, we must sustain our support for Ukraine for a long term. A strong, stable, and independent Ukraine is essential to Euro-Atlantic safety. We will continue to stand with Ukraine for as long as it takes.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau not only spoke of supporting Ukraine, but also announced a new package of sanctions against Russian officials and companies right during the Crimea Platform Summit. It is known that Russian Deputy Minister of Justice Alex Vyrydenko, Commissioner for Children's Rights Maria Lvova-Belova, as well as former Russian Defense Minister Anatoly Serdyukov and his wife Yevgenia Vasilyeva have now been added to the sanctions list. The Russian concern Automatica, part of Rus Electronics, also fell under the sanctions. Even before the summit began, it was clear that a full-scale Russian invasion would affect its agenda. From now on, the Crimean Platform is not only about the demilitarization of the peninsula, but also about all the occupied territories of Ukraine, and there can be no compromise.
According to one American figure who intends to run for president in 2024, in order to negotiate with Putin, we must give him Crimea, so that Putin can get out of this war without losing face. Not only by the Crimean Tatars, but also by the entire Ukrainian people, this is perceived as a call to sacrifice the indigenous people of Crimea to Putin for the sake of illusory peace, a rejection of the norms of international law, and acceptance of the conditions of an armed-to-the-teeth bandit.
Before the opening of the Crimea Platform, Ukrainian Defense Minister Oleksiy Reznikov also urged Western leaders not to compromise with Russia. In his article for the Atlantic Council, he stated that Russia should immediately be recognized as a state sponsor of terrorism, because since 2014, experience has shown that failure to decisively respond to Russian aggression only leads to more problems and higher costs in the future.